Hi, and welcome to General IELTS Help Test Preparation videos. This material and video is coming from gieltshelp.com. For lots more help preparing for the General IELTS exam, please visit us there and join the full course. Before you begin to write your Task 1 response to the letter, there are a couple steps that you need to take in order to make sure that you're going to get a good score. So now let's look at some of these steps for letter writing. Okay, as I've mentioned already a couple of times, the first step you need to take is to quickly decide whether the letter that you're writing is a formal letter or an informal letter, okay? So, is it a formal or informal letter? Now, what this means is formal letters are business letters. They're letters that we write to our boss. They're letters that we write to companies, to people that serve some kind of a need or a want function in our life, but it's not a personal, emotional type of relationship. Formal or informal letters are letters that we write to our friends, our family members, people who we emotionally care about and that we're close to. The type of language that we use for informal letters is a little bit different than for formal letters. For example, in informal letters, we tend to use slang, we tend to use contractions like isn't, wasn't, hasn't, I'm. And for formal letters, we try to avoid idioms, slangs. We want to be more direct, more to the point, very clear with our ideas. And we also avoid contractions like isn't, we say is not, or I'm, I am, or hasn't, has not, or would've, would have. So here we don't use contractions, it's more formal. Okay. So now that you've decided when you're looking at the question it's formal or informal, the next step that you should do is, before you begin writing, have an idea of what you would like to write about. So don't begin just writing words together and hope that they will make sense. So don't just say, "Dear John, currently I'm living in Spain. The weather here is beautiful." You can't do that. It's very difficult, almost impossible, to write a good letter sentence by sentence. If you do this, it's very likely at the end it's not going to be coherent, it's not going to make sense, and you will not have too much description or detail, but you're going to jump around from idea to idea. These types of letters don't get very high scores. If there are grammar, spelling mistakes, then even lower scores. And you're just not going to be happy with that. So plan the ideas of your letter before writing. Now, I realize 20 minutes, it's not a lot of time, but it's not too little time either. If you just spend 2 to 3 minutes planning your thoughts, that will actually save you time. A lot of students don't take that 2-3 minutes because they're scared that they're going to run out of time. They think, oh, that's very valuable time, I just need to write. Otherwise, I'm not going to write at least 150 words. This is not true. Slower is faster. So a student who plans their ideas before they begin to write in 2 to 3 minutes will probably write much faster, much more smoothly, and the ideas will be connected and well described. So the end product will be much better than if the same student didn't plan and just began writing. All right, so plan the ideas of your letter. To plan the ideas of your letter, visualize. So close your eyes if that helps, and try to see what's going on, okay? So visualize, see what is happening. Again, in the structure and content, I said think about W questions. What, why, how, when, where, who. Do that. So when you're trying to see or trying to imagine the content of your letter, think about, okay, what, who. So what's going on? I had a bad experience at my restaurant. Why? I didn't get my food in time. When? Last week at 5 p.m. for supper. Who? The waiter. The waiter didn't pay attention to me. So step by step, you can quickly figure out what's going on, and when you do this, you can organize your thoughts, and when you put it on paper, it's going to be much better organized than if you try to do this step by step. So visualize, see what's happening, ask questions. So again, that's part of that critical thinking. What, why, how. So ask questions. And then when you've answered these questions, when you can see the situation, then you can begin writing, and then what you need to do is focus on detail. So again, steps for good letter writing: first figure out, is it formal or informal, and then plan your ideas before you begin to write the letter. Now when you're practicing this at home, as long as you do this 4, 5, 6 times, it's going to be much, much faster when you're doing it during the exam, and much more efficient. So I strongly recommend to practice this at home. When you're doing it at home, make sure to write your ideas down on paper, okay? Even what you see or what you imagine, write it down on paper. In the exam, you might not have enough time to write all of your ideas on paper, so you need to do it mentally in your head. Again, as long as you practice it at home, you write it down on paper at home, it's going to be a lot faster to do the same step or the same exercise when you're in the exam and doing it mentally or doing it in your mind. So make sure you take these steps. Okay, now that we have a really clear idea about what the task 1 in letter writing is about, what it needs, and the different kinds, let's look at an example of a formal letter and an informal letter, and we'll write the response so that you have just an absolutely crystal clear picture of what you need to do to get this high score for task 1. The video that you just saw and all these materials are coming from gieltshelp.com. For lots more help with the general IELTS English exam, please visit us there and join the full course.